choice of medicine, or that you're a veteran and not getting the rights that you deserve, or you feel that homeless people aren't getting, now's your time. Now's your chance to get involved. Walkforchange.us, y'all. Get up and do something about it. Fight for your rights. We lost that a little bit, and it's starting to get back to that. We're starting to get back to, taking our rights back and learning that we can go out on the street and protest, and we can make a difference, but we got to all join together. And that's what this walk is about, uniting all the human rights activists together to walk all the way across America and get shit done. So hell yeah, y'all. Y'all go check out Walk for Change. CannaFest coming soon, y'all. It's almost around the corner. This will be our third Texas CannaFest at Crystal Beach 2020, y'all. I cannot wait. It's going to be a blast. We got so many musicians and so many speakers already signed up. I'm not going to mention them all right now because I don't got the list in front of me and I don't want to leave anyone out. But if you are a musician, we are still taking musicians. I think we have like 20 or 30 spots or something, and we still have like half of those still. So if you are a musician and you're wanting to go to Crystal Beach Labor Day weekend, September 5th and 6th, same spot as last year, and I can't remember the barrel number, but it's all the way towards the end of the beach where the water collects in that area. So if you're from Crystal Beach, you know where that spot is. And our event link for that, so you can see all the musicians and speakers that we have so far, is on our Facebook page, Cannabis Open Carry Walks. You go click the event link and you go to Texas CannaFest, and you'll be able to find all the information involving that in that event. We will be starting to release flyers of the musicians and the speakers really soon. We're setting everything up for that, so y'all stay tuned to that. Also, the Walk for Change has a new YouTube, Walk #4 Change, y'all. Go check out their YouTube channel, subscribe. We've been working hard on these Walk for Change shorts for y'all, getting many cannabis people together and activist people together to talk about human rights and what the Walk for Change is about. So if y'all go subscribe to that channel, you can watch those little short clips and find out all the different ways we're fighting and what all we're going to be doing. And you subscribe to it so you can stay tuned to the future ones. Also, if you're wanting to get involved in helping us with these Walk for Change short videos, if you want to speak about indigenous rights, or if you have any certain topic that you would like to speak about, hit me up, let me know. I'll let you know where that call is, and we'll get you hooked up to the doc for that. And what we do is we have 2 hosts and we talk about a topic, very simple, about a 15-minute video. So if you're wanting to get involved in that, then definitely hit me up. I'll let you know what to do. I think that is it for announce. Oh, ComeAndTokeIt.com, y'all. We just joined with Come and Toke It. Hit them up. Go check them out. They got some awesome merchandise. I don't have any of it in front of me, but if you look on our wall and go to ComeAndTokeIt.com, you will see everything that they have. They have badass hats, shirts. I do have a buttons, stickers, all kinds of stuff. So y'all go check that out. They rock. When you buy something from them, we get so much of a proceeds from that. So you're helping 2 businesses, a small business with a great ass logo, and us to help us do what we do on the streets. But yes, so today, y'all, yay, David Bass is here. We're gonna go ahead and get him on. I'm so excited. Hi, David. I see his audio is connecting.
Hello.
Hi. This is much easier than last time, right?
This is awesome. Thank God for Zoom.
Right. Yes, I had you on before, and I want to introduce everybody. This is David Bass from Texas Veterans of Medical Marijuana. But at that time, we were doing it Facebook way, and we had some issues. So I wanted to get you on again now that we're running smoother and we got Bobby's help.
It's good. It seems like really good quality.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show with us again, David. I want to ask, you're with Texas for Veterans Medical Marijuana. We'll talk about that first and let people know what that is and where they can find you.
We're Texas Veterans for Medical Marijuana, and we started in 2014, and 2015 was our first legislative session. And we advocate for a medical marijuana program in Texas. And we believe that it should be a whole plant medical marijuana program with no THC limits.
Right.
And we believe we should have the right of home grow. Can you see my?
Oh, wow.
There's our plant.
Heck yeah, it's beautiful.
But that's my prop for tonight. And we just cannot understand why Governor Abbott, who says that he believes in medical freedom, will not let us, veterans, patients, and caregivers in Texas who want to use cannabis as medicine, that Governor Abbott will not grant us medical freedom to use this medication instead of opioids and psychotropic pills. It doesn't make any sense because the Republican Party, a core belief is supposed to be that the federal government and state government should stay out of our personal lives. And as long as we're not hurting another person, then we should be able to do as we want and live our lives as we want, just like we're promised in the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Exactly.
So that's what Texas Veterans for Medical Marijuana is about. And we're not ashamed to say that we peacefully resist these unjust laws. Civil disobedience is an American tradition. Texas was founded on civil disobedience.
Right.
When Texans decided that they had had enough of the unjust laws they were living under. And so they established the Republic of Texas. And so we don't consider ourselves to be criminals or outlaws. We're veterans and we love our country and we love our state. But this unjust law that tells us we have to use pills instead of our plant, we just refuse to obey them because we have to take care of our health.
Right. Right. And you would, if anybody is out there, if they had a son that had cancer and they learned that RSO was going to help, you would do anything for your kids. They're not criminals. Y'all aren't criminals. And that is exactly why I started this show, so that we could get people to see who the patients are, because we're not people that are just sitting there stoned on the couch. We actually get out there and do things for our community and help others. And we're just normal, everyday people just like them. Can you tell them a little bit about why it is that you choose to use cannabis and what it is that you're dealing with that helps?
Well, when I came back from serving in the war in Iraq, I had these symptoms that I didn't understand what was going on. And I was having nightmares and anger outbursts and paranoia, and I was hypervigilant all the time. And so I went to the mental health clinic at Fort Hood and told the psychiatrist and the psychologist what my symptoms were. And they diagnosed me with post-traumatic stress disorder. And I was also taking opioids for chronic pain from injuries I had received in the Army. And so that very day, the psychiatrist prescribed me psychotropic medications for PTSD. So now I had opioids and psychotropic medications.
Right.
And I did not like the side effects. But I used the pills for several years, just like my doctors recommended.
Right.
But I didn't feel like they were helping me. I mean, the opioids did help with chronic pain, but right. I felt I was addicted. I had become dependent on these pills, and I didn't like their side effects either. So I was looking on the internet, and I saw the phrase medical marijuana. And I had no idea about medical marijuana until I read about it. And so in 2012, I was able to get access to medical grade cannabis. And for the entire year of 2012, I used cannabis every day, not a lot.
Right.
I was vaporizing a small amount in the evening after work. But by the end of that year, I had stopped using opioids and psychotropic medications, and I was only using cannabis. So I was like, okay, obviously this works. So that's when I became a marijuana activist, and I became the director of Veterans Outreach for Texas NORML.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I'm so glad that you found cannabis, and your story is a lot like mine. I have PTSD, and but not from war, of course. I thank you so much for your service, by the way. And I realized that those medicines, man, the effects, it makes you not care about anything that you should really care about, like your family and stuff. That it like makes you not care about nothing, and you have no like feelings at all. When I finally got off Xanax, I realized, oh my gosh, you know, the I can feel again. Like I actually care about people again, and the side effects from them are so horrible that it should be illegal if we choose to have a better way of life and a better way of not being addicted to opioids and cure or help our illnesses and help the side effects from them with a better choice as cannabis instead of all these opioids and pills that they give us that end up giving us more. I don't know if you felt this, but I felt like that like made it worse sometimes. Like my panic attacks were worse.
Oh, there's no doubt. And the psychotropic medications, a side effect is suicidal ideation. So I believe that some veterans that we know have committed suicide because of the psychotropic pills, because it says right in the warnings that a side effect of psychotropic medications is suicidal ideation. So you're being prescribed these medications to deal with PTSD, and then they put thoughts of suicide in your head. Does that make any sense? No, absolutely not. And I did the Treats the Teachers program. And so I was teaching high school at a very large high school. And I discovered that a lot of my students had PTSD from being sexually assaulted, from being abused, from being in, a horrible car accident or things like that. And so I discovered that PTSD is not just something that soldiers experience. Many people experience PTSD. These healthcare workers who are attending to COVID-19 patients in these gigantic hospitals are going to have PTSD too when they're finished with all this because of the horrible things that they've experienced and saw. And so PTSD is not uncommon among human beings, and it's when people have experienced some horrible thing that has happened to them, and then they can never escape that. And so the doctors are trained in medical school that the answer to that is psychotropic pills. But what we have discovered, you and me and many others, is that a natural plant is very helpful to the symptoms of PTSD. And so that's why we're working so hard for this medical marijuana program in Texas.
Exactly. We see how much it helps us, and we know so many that need the help, that we are just so passionate about getting this plant available to others because we've seen how it helped our lives, and we want to help other people and with their situations and hopefully help them have a better way of living.
Right, exactly. And so we've made great progress in Texas thanks to Cannabis Open Carry Walks and all the other legalization groups.
Yes, there are many.
And now we have the media is on our side. When the media covers us, it's always positive. I can't even recall a negative story
Right.
in the last few years. The people of Texas are on our side. Every poll shows that the people of Texas supports marijuana reform. And now a supermajority of the legislature is on our side in the House of Representatives. So really in Texas, we're down to Governor Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Patrick, the law enforcement associations, the prison guards, the parole and probation officers, people who have a vested interest in keeping us trapped inside the legal system,
Right.
so that we can never escape once that first arrest happens.
Exactly. Yeah, they're the hardest right now that we're dealing with. Those are the people that we definitely, and we need to tell our doctors more. Like, speak to your doctor if you are a cannabis patient, and let them know. You know, I know it's hard because you get labeled as an addict when you talk to your doctors. You know what I mean? If you say that you are choosing to use cannabis instead of the other. So I know it's hard, but try to in every case that you can, let your doctor know that you need to read more up on cannabis. You know what I mean? And let's try to educate them as well. Because right now they're told they have to, like, what? It's not, is it prescribe right now in Texas, right? They have to prescribe it.
Well, under the Texas Compassionate Use Program, yes, that has to be an actual prescription. There's not very many doctors who are willing to do that, even for CBD oil.
Exactly, because it's federally illegal, and they can get in trouble, right? They can get their license taken away.
They can get fired. There's a lot of hospitals that are totally opposed to it. They can lose their job. By the way, I have singer's nodule, so I have damage to my vocal cords. If my voice goes off, then that's it. I can't talk anymore. So I'm being careful how I went to speech therapy. So I have to be careful how I talk when I'm doing these interviews. So if my voice locks up, then I'm not being rude if I disappear. It's just because
I totally understand. Thank you so much for coming on.
Speaking of the doctors, I've had cancer 3 times in the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And I get treated at Darnall Army Hospital on Fort Hood. And I've told all of my doctors at Fort Hood that I use cannabis as medicine. And I tell the nurses, and I told the anesthesiologists, because they want to know what medications you're taking before your surgery. And so all of my doctors, my urologist, my dermatologist, my primary care physician, they all know that I use cannabis. And I told them to put that note in my records so that they all know. And none of them have objected. Not a single one of them. Because they can look in my in the computer to my records, and I tell them, I said, you look in there, look at all those prescriptions of opioids and psychotropic pills, and now I don't fill those prescriptions. Right. Why do you think I don't fill those prescriptions anymore? It's because I use cannabis. Right. And they think it's fine. You know, they're like, awesome. Okay, if it works for you, that's great, because they know I shouldn't be taking all those pills. Right. A 64-year-old person doesn't need to be taking handfuls of pills every day. So yes, I tell every medical person who treats me that cannabis is a daily medication for me instead of those pills. And these are military doctors and military personnel, and they have nothing negative to say about it. That is awesome. That's good news. That means our doctors are starting to come around, because they see people like you. And if you do tell them, hey, I take it, then they can study. Then they can say, okay, well, you're using this. This is why. They can put, but if you're hiding the fact, then they can't see the result. And it's going to take doctors seeing the results of this, since we haven't really been able to study because of the federal thing. Yeah. And that will open doctors' eyes to the possibility of, maybe I should help or use this for my other patients that have the same issues. Definitely. Yes. And a lot of these doctors have worked in legal medical marijuana states. So they know that
Right.
it's not harmful to their patients. They know that.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for the future of Texas and where it's going if we continue to fight and continue this path. And thank you so much for being on and all that you do. I did want to ask, is there anything you got coming up that you'd like to let our people know about? Any events, or I know the coronavirus and stuff, but
Well,
any events you'd like to talk?
Where Jack Spinkle and I are discussing doing a virtual medical marijuana seminar with patients, veterans, and caregivers on Zoom, instead of doing our medical marijuana seminars that we had planned in New Braunfels and in Waco. We got to do our medical marijuana seminar we had planned in Dallas, and that was very successful. But of course, Waco and New Braunfels is canceled for now.
Right.
So we're hoping, if things work out, that we're able to do an online virtual medical marijuana seminar that will include veterans, patients, and caregivers. So hopefully we'll be able to do that.
Cool. Well, as soon as y'all get that link together, y'all share it my way so I can put it on our page and let people know about when it's going to happen, and so they can stay tuned for it. I did, since you said Jax, I wanted to go ahead and ask about the Mays family. Do you know anything about that? I'm going to put their defense fund in the bottom of this video. Do you know a little bit about the Mays?
We all know Glenn and his family, and they've been working with us from the beginning, advocating for a medical marijuana program. And they moved to Colorado so that their child would be able to use cannabis as medicine, because it's very helpful for their child's medical condition. But when COVID-19 came along, the family decided to stay in West Texas because in Colorado, they live close to a hot spot where there's a lot of COVID-19 cases. But Glenn needed to go to Colorado for the medicine. Right. And apparently he was arrested coming back. And of course, that's a felony. Right. And so Heather Fazio started a fundraiser to help Glenn raise the money for a lawyer for this felony defense. Right. And if you haven't seen it, Heather did an interview with Glenn today. Oh, I haven't seen that. Yeah, Heather just published it a few minutes ago. Okay, I'll go check that out. I believe, based on, I haven't watched the whole video. I want to watch it when we get finished. But Heather said that Glenn has decided to demand a court trial and fight the charges. So that will be very interesting to see if the district attorney will decide to go ahead and take Glenn to trial, right? Or maybe drop the charges, knowing that it will seem absurd to be prosecuting this man for taking care of his child. And Glenn, his background is as a corrections officer working with young people. Right. So he has an unblemished record. Right. And he worked with juveniles for many, many, many years and had a distinguished career in that field. And so it's going to look pretty bad if the DA and the police drag him in front of a jury and charge him with a felony just for trying to take care of his child while they're sheltering in West Texas from the COVID-19 virus. I mean, that's going to be horrible, right? Media coverage for the DA. So we're supporting Glenn 100%. It sure will. Yes, us too. I wanted to let you know, we recently joined up with the Human Solution International, and that's what they do, is fight court cases. So when this goes to trial, and if it goes to the end, whatever y'all need us there at court to support, sign, whatever you need, we're here to help. And the other big news is that Representative Joe Moody from El Paso announced on our Texas Normal Streamathon on 4/20 that he'll be introducing a full retail sales legalization bill in the House of Representatives in 2021. And so that's going to be fantastic. And it's going to make all those legislators have to talk about legalizing marijuana in Texas. And it's going to make Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick have to discuss it too. So that's a really big thing, and we're real excited about it.
That is very awesome. We'll definitely be behind that bill too as well. Well, I know you got the voice issue. I don't want to strain you too much. Thank you so much for coming on. I just love talking to you every time.
Hey, Candis, would you mind if I jumped in and asked a question?
Go right ahead, Bobby. Here's the man behind the curtain, David. Bobby Rodrigo.
Hey, David, how you doing?
Good.
So the reason I wanted to jump in real quick, I'm a veteran myself, U.S. Navy, and I pay attention to all things veterans. And one of the things I'd like you to comment on, because I'm sure with your advocacy and what you're trying to advance for veterans everywhere, particularly in the cannabis area, is the problems that you're having, veterans have, in dealing with the VA hospital from the federal level, understanding the state issues, but talking about, because that's where most of our opioids come from as far as our veteran care, is from the VA department. And I wanted to just get your input just to educate Texas and everywhere else on what's going on there and why this is such an important issue.
Well, several years ago, Michael Krawitz, who's a veteran activist, he and a group of veterans convinced the VA to publish a memorandum and an official policy that in medical marijuana states, if a veteran comes into their doctor and says, I use cannabis as medicine, that the doctor cannot take any adverse action against that veteran if the veteran has a legal card from that state to use medical cannabis. The doctor just has to put into the veteran's records that this patient uses a non-VA prescription for another medication. But previous to that, VA doctors would routinely, if we came up hot on the urinalysis for THC, would immediately label us as drug abusers and cut off our prescriptions to opioids and psychotropic medications. I've met
and sometimes benefits as well.
No, not benefits. It would be illegal to cut off benefits. So it's not that nobody ever lost their benefits over using marijuana through the VA system. What they do is they would cut off their medications and then try to force them to go through alcohol and drug abuse program before they would allow them to use opioids or psychotropic medications. And that had a terrible effect on a lot of veterans, because a lot of veterans, cannabis allows them to use less medication.
Yes.
They don't completely cut it out, but they use less medication. But that only applies in medical marijuana states. It does not apply to Texas. And so some VA doctors in Texas still are with the old program. They'll cut a veteran off from his medications or her if she comes up hot on the urinalysis for THC, and they'll label them a drug abuser and tell them they're a bad person and try to get them enrolled in a drug abuse program. And so in Texas, it totally depends on your doctor, your VA doctor, as to how they react. But I tell veterans that they have the right, as a patient of the VA, that if their doctor is making adverse decisions about them using cannabis, they have the right as veterans to request another doctor. And I know several veterans who have done that. And then they switched over to another doctor, and that doctor didn't care. Right? Good. And so that's what I tell veterans now. If your doctor is doing adverse actions against you for using cannabis, then you request another VA doctor. And if that doctor is the same, you request another VA doctor until you find one that understands that it's not hurting you.
Right.
Fantastic. I just wanted to cover that. So all the veterans, particularly in Texas and in states that don't have medical marijuana, understand what's going on. A lot of times with these battles that we have, we forget the niches that are out there, unfortunately. And And this, of course, is a big, big, big niche with our fellow brothers and sisters in the veteran community. So I appreciate that, David. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Great question, Bobby. Thank you so much, David. I'm going to let you go ahead and rest your voice and watch those videos.
Well, I hope to see you guys soon in person.
You know it. As soon as I can, we'll be out there.
All right.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. You have a
Bye.
great night.
All right.
Heck yeah, y'all. I love David. He's a great guy. We run into each other a lot because, of course, we're fighting for cannabis. So we end up in a lot of the same places. And he's always just been an amazing, sweet guy. And he does a lot for the cannabis community. And he's just very educated on all of it. So I love picking his brain too. But awesome. So thank y'all very much. Y'all go check out Veterans for Medical Marijuana and find out what they're doing. And I'm going to put the Mays Family Defense Fund GoFundMe link in the bottom of our chat. I know it's only been 32 minutes, but I think we covered a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and say peace, y'all, for now. Y'all have a great night.